Okay, so this is a 6-acre tract at Timber Shoals Ranch. This is tract 67. We've got it toward the middle of the screen here, outlined in red. This large peninsula that you see, that is Timber Shoals Ranch, um, and the water you see is Bull Shoals Lake. So it wraps completely around the peninsula. It's Corps of Engineer Lake, so the water and the waterfront and actually a buffer strip going back from the waterfront is owned and controlled by the Army Corps of Engineers. That's so they can raise and lower the level at the dam for flood control and whatnot. So the shaded area that you see going around the peninsula is Corps of Engineer land. So that's actually open for public use, for hunting, for recreation, and for access to the water, which is pretty cool. So the property's right here. I mean, you've got several of these trails that lead into the Corps of Engineer land. The closest, well, two of them are up here and over here. Although I don't think you could put a boat in the water there. The nearest places anyway for putting a boat in the water would be this pink line here, which is a trail that goes across state line. I'm sorry, goes across this meadow, and then down to State Line Cove. We've launched a pontoon boat and jet skis there, or down here at the south side of the peninsula, what we call the sandy beach area, because when the water is low enough, there's a gorgeous sandy beach, looks like Florida basically. But even no matter where the water level is, there's a pretty good place there to back your trailer into the water to offload your pontoon boat or your jet ski, or I'm sure your bass boat. We just don't happen to have a bass boat, so we've never done that. Let's zoom in here. We'll take a look starting at the north side here. Okay, so when you come to visit the property, you'll end up taking Mo Ark Road right down here. It dead ends at the state line. So Missouri on this side, Arkansas on this side. Take Mo Ark Road. You'll see a private driveway with the gate. You'll actually go left onto the gravel easement road. That'll take you to the property. If you were to continue, if you went left and went through the meadow, this is actually not an easement. We just happen to own the south half of this meadow, and you're welcome to cross over it to get to this trail that goes right down to State Line Cove. That's actually a nice spot for fishing as well. Um, we've had young kids there and all kinds of people there. I mean, there's tons of tons of room, I should say, to park your truck and trailer. It's also very secluded because there basically are no roads other than this trail that goes over this private meadow. So really no way for anyone to get here by car other than crossing over the meadow. And you have permission to do that. There may be some trails, four-wheeler trails that go through the Corps of Engineer land. That's pretty common. So visiting the property, come on down, take the gravel easement road. You'll see a barn. You'll come to a Y in the road. I mean, a couple different ways you can come. I'll just tell you the way that we always come. Go left at that first Y, left at the first Y. Follow the road, stay to the right. Follow the road, stay to the right. You go through a couple small meadows. Now you'll come to another Y in the road. Okay, this is where I just say I don't even know what the word is. Use caution because we really haven't fully explored these trails. So the way we go is we go left at this Y. You end up in this big meadow. Take a right, and the road easement goes along the edge of the meadow, and it's not too far, and you're at the property, and you can park there and walk all over. Also, though, there's a road here that runs with the south side of the property. Also, had you gone right at that Y, you would have ended up at the west side of the property, and you've got all these roads in between. So the road system, I mean, miles and miles of roads and trails out here at Timber Shoals Ranch that we have not even fully explored. When we bought the property, the trails were already there, but they hadn't been maintained for years and years. So the guys are the guys are working on trying to widen those out and clean things up. They're always going to be designed for a truck or an SUV. This is not the place to bring your sports car that has 2 inches of clearance. It's more something that, you know, if we have inclement weather, then certainly you want a little extra clearance if the roads are rutted. If you have four-wheel drive, that's a bonus as well for sure. It just kind of goes in with the tone of Timber Shoals Ranch, the outdoorsy privacy to it, I guess. So also, I mean, there's so much I haven't even been on half these roads, but I have continued on through here, and this is a good trail that goes right down almost to the water. So that's a fun spot to maybe take your four-wheeler and take the kids and do some fishing. There's not a place, not a good place to back your trailer into the water, so you'd have to do that elsewhere. But I mean, you've got access to miles of shoreline, 5 or 6 miles just on this peninsula, which is great. As far as the property itself, let's zoom on in and have a look, because this is a nice one. It's entirely wooded. The difference in color here is MapRight is splicing together two different maps. One looks like it was taken maybe early spring, and one more toward the fall. Let's try a different layer. Let's try a Google map, see what that looks like. Okay, so the north half of the screen is a winter map, and the south half is summer, but I mean, you can see the property here. Basically entirely wooded. The road easement goes along this edge here through the meadow. I don't even think the guys have done anything to the existing trail that goes along the meadow, so they'll probably be hauling in rock at some point. If it's been raining, you'll want to use caution because that is kind of a grassy area. Now, I hesitate to say this because I can't recall for sure, but I think this is the area that had a really beautiful, almost park-like area at the corner here. We'll have to check out the ground video to see that, but this trail goes down toward the west side. I mean, you've got access all over the place, and it's thickly wooded. Now let's take a look at the topo map, because that's when it gets really good. This property is extremely level, like one of the most level spots on this whole peninsula. It's basically, I guess, the highest, you'd say, toward this west side, and it slopes down extremely gradually as you move toward the northeast. If I was standing on the ground, I would basically classify it as flat, level, high quality ground. This shows that there's probably some gradual slope to it. But I mean, that's unusual here in the Ozarks. If you just look at this peninsula, for instance, it's about half steep land, a quarter rolling land, and a quarter or less of very flat land like this. And so this is, if you're looking for a usability standpoint, this is pretty great. Google map there. Let's zoom in a little and see how we can. So I mean, you're going to have just dozens of building sites. It's a large tract. It's 6 acres. You get a setback from the shared roadways, so you got to do that. But I mean, once you get back, even just 50 or 100 feet off these roadways, you're going to be so private because it's thickly wooded. So nice chance to really pick where you want to be. If it were me, this would be my building spot right here in the center, with a trail going to it, and no one could ever see me. Try the satellite map. It's fun to play with this MapRight because there are different options, and we can definitely. The MapRight app is free, so you need the app for your phone or your tablet, and then we'll send you. Just let us know, and we'll email you the link for this specific map. So you'll open up the email then on your phone or your tablet, and click on the link. It will ask you if you want to open the link within the app, to which you'll say yes. And then not only will this particular map open up, but there'll be a little colored dot to indicate exactly where you are, where your phone is, and it works off GPS. So it's great when you're driving out here. You can track exactly where you are. It's ideal for a property like this. I mean, I still get confused out there. I basically need MapRight when I go out to Timber Shoals Ranch. But then when you're on the roads, you just watch the little dot. You can tell where you are. The first few times I was out there without MapRight, I got turned around every single time. So really solid tract, super private, wildlife everywhere, deer and turkey. Obviously the fishing in Bull Shoals Lake is world class. What else was I going to say about that? Family friendly section of lake. Oh, we're fairly close to Branson and some other big cities, but we're not right there. So you're not likely to have the big power boats and stuff that you'll have, say, by Branson. But you'll have tubers, you'll have bass fishermen. I mean, it's just a great area for all that stuff. So if you have any questions, let us know. Really, all you have to do is go to the website at InstantAcres.com. That's where you can see if the property is available. Or give us a call or send us an email at sales@instantacres.com. We would love to chat with you about any of our properties.